Hello, this is Elvis Linus, driver of the Great Clips Mohawk Warriors. Start your engines. It's time now for the Arena Guys Backstage Pass podcast with Gary the Arena Guy and Dave Redelberger. Take it away, guys.
Wow.
Is that new music?
That is new music.
It's a whole new era.
A whole new era. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But boy, that music sounds really good because, for one, it sounds good. It's good. But two,
it's a bop.
we're resuming. This is our
resuming.
first podcast since, I believe, February.
It was black and
of
white the last
2020.
time we did the podcast.
It was black. It wasn't. It was a silent podcast.
It
It wasn't a talkie. Somebody just played the organ in the background, so we put subtitles on the screen. It's been that long. It feels really good. Dave Redelberger, it's good to see you.
Arena Guy, it is great to be back. And no, I like the new music. What is that?
It is. Well, let's give props where they're. I hesitate bringing it up because it'll give him a big head.
I asked. I did ask.
I know. But producer, we also have a new producer.
A new producer. I didn't even. Oh, there is somebody new in the room. Yes.
Adam Paddock, AdamPaddock.com. Okay, there we go. There's a plug. Check it out. It's really good. But Adam is a musician and provided new open and closed music for our podcast. And thank you, Adam.
Very cool. It's a lit bop, as the kids say.
A lit bop, yeah. I'm locked in, whatever that means. He says that all the time, so I'm just starting to
There you go.
try to fit in.
We're hip. We're cool.
So, yeah.
And we're back.
And we're back, which is really exciting. The last podcast we did was, I could look it up, but it was like in February or very early March. And almost as soon as we finished it, we were done.
Right, and what a crazy time it's been. We did a couple of like little mini video podcasts. We
Yeah,
did
they
it,
were fun.
Did it a couple different ways where we edited our parts separately, and then we did some stuff, through Zoom when that was a novelty, right?
You know, 18 or 19 months ago, we didn't even know what Zoom was.
Right, no idea.
And now it's
now
probably, you know what Zoom, you know how every year they come out with the hot new words or the new words in the
Yeah,
dictionary?
right, yeah.
I bet Zoom wasn't in the dictionary until the pandemic. I bet it's one of those hot new words that will be in.
The word of the year,
Yeah,
right? Because it was such a moment in time that I hope we're not repeating anytime soon. So,
So this is podcast number 13.
Is it lucky number 13?
Yeah, so it's a new world.
Yes.
We're starting again. We expect to do the Arena Guy podcast with Arena Guy and Dave once a month, roughly.
Okay.
So, oh my God. Uh-oh.
Special guest star coming in for the broadcast. Joining us, Xen Riggs.
Oh my God, come on in. Oh wow. Well, this feels like it's like a walk-in.
You want to go ahead and do an official introduction?
Xen Riggs is like the biggest hotshot on campus.
Grand Poobah, I think the
Grand
official
Poobah.
title.
He's Come on, have a seat.
The brains behind so much of what has happened over the past many years here at the arenas and bringing the arenas together. Also a big force on campus.
Big force.
The student union. If you've been in the student union at Ohio State, Xen Riggs is the man that you want to give a proverbial high five to.
Wow, he's like your
Maybe a socially distanced high five is the way to go.
Yeah,
PR
it's kind
guy.
of tight in here. The spacious studios of the Arena Guy are not what I was promised.
Yeah. Well, first director of the Schottenstein Center too, by the way.
Were you the first director of the Schottenstein Center?
When it was a hole in the ground, yes.
Yeah.
So there was, your surprise drop-in. This is already here. We're just underway. But let me go ahead and ask, the question, which is, 20 plus years ago, we were here in Columbus, and there were no real arenas. So what was the vision at that time as we talk about kind of reigniting live entertainment? Tell me about what it was like to kind of ignite it in the first time, right? 20 years ago when we didn't have the entertainment here in the arena.
I'm still trying to figure out the headsets here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't really need them, so I'm okay.
No, you
think
don't.
I'm good.
Just go ahead and speak into the mic if you would. Please.
Yes,
I'm sure producer Adam is.
Well, gosh, that was a long time ago. I can barely remember what I had for breakfast, but
Yeah.
no,
That happens.
Yes, it does. That was an exciting time back in 1998 when we were trying to get this building ready. I remember we opened and it wasn't done yet. I still remember an army of craftsmen coming in on the. If people have been in the building, they noticed the terrazzo designs in the rotundas and beyond, and those weren't finished. So there was an army of craftsmen that would come in on their hands and knees with hand tools, bending that metal and putting that down in place. And I think we opened in October, and I don't think those were done until March. So we were still working on the building, but it was a great time. I remember the Great Flush. People still will come up to me and go, "Yeah, I was there for that." It was kind of like the Snow Bowl. We must have had 100,000 people.
I was there for the Great Flush.
Explain.
Yes.
I mean, I know what it is, but explain what the Great Flush was.
Well, the Great Flush has kind of become a bit of a tradition with new buildings, where you get an army of people and you want to test the systems, in particular the plumbing systems. You don't want them to have issues, if you know what I mean. No. So you have people come in and you flush all the toilets and turn the sinks on kind of at the same time, just to make sure it can handle the stress and the load. And we passed people got little hats, and again, people come up to me all the time. Yes, I was there for that, but there couldn't possibly have been that many people.
It's kind of like Woodstock, right, where everybody was there. Yeah, right.
Yes. Yeah. So
I remember, just one last comment on the opening of the building, but I came to visit in the late 90s, and I've got pictures of the hole in the ground in the very early construction. Just like Xen is trying to construct the headphones. It's really not that hard.
No, it was just a hole in the ground. But I mean, there's a lot of university buildings, right? There's a lot of arenas all across America that are on college campuses that host basketball, but weren't built for concerts. And so when the Schottenstein Center was being constructed, you had it in mind also, not just as a basketball or an athletic facility, but also as a concert venue.
Well, and not me so much, but I would give Andy Geiger kind of credit for that, Andy and his staff, and that's how I got involved, is the Assembly Hall at the University of Illinois. Of course, it's called something different now, but it'll always be the Assembly Hall to me. It will. Was one of the very few arenas in the country on a college campus that was actively pursuing and promoting shows. And so as they were contemplating the Schottenstein Center, the university knew that they wanted it to be truly multi-purpose. And so they called me to say, hey, how does that work at the University of Illinois? And we had, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 different conversations with different people here, and that's kind of what generated the I guess I'd call it mutual interest of me coming over to do this, and for them having me. If only they knew then what they knew now, they would have made a different decision.
Because I worked with Xen at the University of Illinois, so actually what he doesn't know is I was calling Andy Geiger and said, please take him.
Yeah, how much did you pay? Because
I didn't have any money.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes me feel a little better.
You were that cheap.
Yes, absolutely. What is the topic today, by the way?
Well,
I don't even know what you guys
we're kind of just talking about the return to live.
Yeah, so let's transition to that. The past, this is the first podcast in like 19 months.
Could have had 2 babies in that time.
Really?
Some folks did.
Yes,
I think
so.
I mean, people had time.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean,
there are a lot of free
months,
time.
Yeah.
So. But what has it been like, Dave? What was it like for you over this past 18 months?
You know, it definitely was. You know, when we talked about, you know, this industry for so many people, you know, in the future of it, we didn't see anything like this pandemic coming. You know, it was just that thing of, you know, there were so many things that might shut down the industry, or this could happen. And this was really such a unusual time. I remember we always talk about Dan and Shay, right? Dan and Shay was our last big show.
March 8th.
March 8th of 2020. And I remember being backstage with the tour manager and kind of giving him a high five handshake. We were kind of like laughing of like, hey, are we allowed to do this anymore? And then, you know, and then very shortly thereafter, we were all sent home for an extra week or 2 of spring break.
Yeah.
Right?
And it was supposed to last maybe a month or 2. Remember, Lauren Daigle was rescheduled for like 2 months later.
Right.
And everything was going to resume in a couple of months because nobody really knew. I remember the governor, it was the Arnold time, and the governor was concerned about international travel coming into Columbus, and the Arnold was shut down, and Arnold Schwarzenegger obviously had talked to the governor, and he did this video from his backyard in California, and you could tell Arnold was not happy about it. And he explained why it was important and why it was being postponed, but you could see the look in his eyes like, I do not want to do this. And now, as time has evolved, he is probably the biggest vaccination person, the biggest pro-masker. He really has realized the importance of all that for not only his event, but our lives really to resume. Dan and Shay, it was really interesting because that was about the time when people were starting, it's mostly like other countries and things, and there was starting to be a little bit of concern. Little did we know that was
right on the edge.
Their last show. It was their first arena show ever on their tour outside of Nashville. So we were the first. And I always thought it would be cool if they were the first show back.
Oh, okay, I see that. Yeah,
You know, because then we could say it was but it was their first and last arena show ever until their fall tour resumes coming up.
And you know, it just got underway. And what's neat is some of my friends around the country are hosting them. And I see the stage set up, and it looks exactly, you know, it's kind of, they just hit the pause button.
I mean, they only used it once.
Right. So it was great, though. You know, when you ask about what 2020 was, it was a test of optimism, right? And I think even those of us who were, you know, optimistic by default, we were always had that conversation of, oh, we'll be back in time for Buckeye Country Superfest. Oh, we'll definitely be back in time for that show in the fall. Oh, you know what? No matter what, we're back in time for TSO.
Remember, Justin Bieber, Lauren Daigle, all postponed for like 2 months, and then it went on and on. And now it is what it is. We've resumed, but it was really a challenging time. And Xen, you're what was it like in your world when all this started coming down?
Well, I think you guys described a lot of it. I think there was maybe hope or optimism that this would be a short-term thing. And of course, back then, 3 months seemed like forever.
An eternity.
I can't imagine
those
this going
first couple months,
and,
especially.
To me, the most interesting thing about it as we've moved forward, one, just the constant changes, and we've had to kind of adjust and adapt. And I don't want to use the word pivot, but I will.
Oh, please don't.
Pivot, because everybody uses the word pivot.
It's one of those COVID words that
yes.
gets so overused.
Yes, absolutely. We should name those. We should have a top 10. But I think what's been as amazing to me is, as we were in the thick of this, the height of the pandemic, I think we all just were looking for that silver bullet that's going to get us out of it. And what's that going to be? And they kept talking about vaccine. Well, that could take a couple of years. Remember that when they first started? Well, that could be 2 or 3 years. And we're like, holy cow, are we really going to be doing this for that long?
I mean, nobody had been through this before, so there were a lot of question marks.
Yeah, and so then when the vaccine came out and got approved and turned out to be effective, I think we were all going, wow, this is great. We'll be back. We've got a pathway back. Who would have thought that it would have become so divisive over time? And
right.
It's just really interesting to me. And even the live business is kind of a microcosm of that. We have artists that don't want any restrictions. We want artists that want masking. We have artists that want everybody to have a vaccine. It's all over the board.
It is.
And who would have thought of that? And so the live business has kind of become what we're seeing nationally in terms of that just kind of back and forth. And who would have thought that when we were last summer looking at this vaccine going, hallelujah, here we go, we're off to the races.
I mean, we're not going to talk about the political part of this.
I just
but
did, so it's too late.
In vague terms, but you do get artists like Eric Clapton who won't play anywhere if there's a mandate, and then you get James Taylor and Jackson Browne or 21 Pilots and others, Michael Bublé and a whole bunch want that proof of vaccination. That's actually becoming or proof of a negative test within 72 hours usually. Yeah. That's becoming more of the norm coming up too, don't you think? As this Delta variant continues?
And you have Republican governors and Democrat governors. They're all looking at it differently. But I think you're right. Taking the politics out of it, the pragmatic part for us as venues is being able to be nimble enough and make the adjustments from show to show. And I think the most challenging part of that is communicating with our fans, because trying to help them understand what to expect on any given night is a challenge.
It is, and I like we need to educate them that we are nimble. I just like that word.
Yeah, it is. That is good, nimble.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of our responsibility right now is to educate our fans and guests on, because each event could be different. There's a core, and maybe we can touch on that a little bit. There's a core bullet points of what people need to get used to: mobile ticketing, cashless, masking at this present time, and so on. But the proof of vaccination, all that is going to vary from show to show.
Well, but we should be clear: the mobile ticketing and the cashless, we were heading down that road.
We were talking about that. We've been talking about that for a while.
Yeah. And this kind of accelerated it, but heck, 2 years later, we probably would have been there by now anyway.
True.
So I don't want to point to the pandemic for that because I think that was just the wave of the future, and we were seeing
Bag policy is another thing, right? Yeah.
Yes, bag policy.
We've been moving towards that with the stadium
Exactly.
and at Nationwide as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's such a. I was talking with the rest of the marketing team earlier today about it's such a tough time.
You mean you're talking to yourself?
Leslie?
Right, I try to make it sound big, right? It's just I had an hour-long call with Leslie today, and but we were talking about how we miss just being able to communicate about the fun, right? So,
right.
So because there's a lot of communication now that is needed for every event to kind of make sure people are up to date as to what's happening, because every event is a little bit different, and we're seeing a show going on sale in March, and immediately the questions come in. What's going to be the restrictions in March?
Right.
Honestly, I wish I knew.
And that's part of the education to know that this is. Here's a word that I use all the time when I do TV, and
I'm ready.
It's a fluid situation.
Fluid situation,
So
absolutely.
What we say today could possibly change tomorrow, depending on.
What does that mean when you say fluid
I know.
situation?
I
What
don't
does
like
that really
It's
mean?
like saying the word
How does
moist.
it
I don't really
connect?
care for it.
It's like when you have a well-scripted podcast, and all of a sudden somebody stops in unexpectedly.
Yeah.
It's a fluid situation.
Messes up the flow.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, and that's part of the education is I just say, this is what I know right now. And before you come to the event, check out your event on our website at schottensteincenter.com or nationwidearena.com and click on more info, which is under every event, and you'll get up to date.
Yeah, because
information on what's happening.
everything is subject to change,
Yeah.
right? I mean, more than ever. But what's great, and we're going to touch on this again in a moment. I know you want to take a break here, but is the fact that the fun is still here. When you are at an event, when you are at Guns N' Roses, or you are at WWE, or you are at Eric Church, the electricity in the building is back, and that's what's fun.
Yeah, let's talk about that in just a moment. And also, I want to ask you what you learned over the past 18 months, and then we'll talk about some of the shows
I learned some good stuff
that we presented recently too, and talk about some of that fun, because it was clearly evident with some of our fans, and we'll talk about that coming up.
Grammy, Tony, and Emmy Award-winning artist Ben Platt. The Reverie Tour. Schottenstein Center, March 9th, 2022. Ben Platt with special guest Jake Wesley Rogers. Get tickets now at benplattmusic.com. Ben Platt, produced by AEG Presents.
Athleta presents Gold Over America Tour, starring Simone Biles, Jade, Lori, Jordan, Grace, Michaela, and an all-star team of champion gymnasts. October 19th, Nationwide Arena. Athleta presents Gold Over America Tour. From the world stage to your hometown. Tickets on sale now at goldoverAmericaTour.com.
What's up, everybody? This is Julian Zeus McClurkin with the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters, and you're listening to A Real Game Winner, the Arena Guys Backstage Pass podcast with Gary, the Arena Guy, and Dave Redelberger.
Thank you, Zeus, one of our favorites.
And the Globetrotters are coming back.
They're coming back in December, and Zeus has promised me that he will come in studio with us in one of our next podcasts.
Oh, very cool. You know, he's just a great guy.
He is.
A great ambassador for the Globetrotters and Columbus, Ohio.
And he holds a few Guinness World Records, too.
Speaking of Columbus, Ohio, I see you wearing a T-shirt here from our hometown boys, 21 Pilots. Not one, not two, but 3 shows coming up this month.
Man, you are jumping ahead.
Well, I just wanted to point out your shirt. I know you get upset if I don't point out your shirt.
I know. It's part of the wardrobe. It's part of the wardrobe budget.
You kind of got jeans that match the shirt today, too. So
I'm all black today.
Pretty impressive.
But yeah, no, 21 Pilots. We're very excited about them. Let's talk about them coming up in just a moment.
Yeah.
Before we talk about some of the shows that we've already presented since we've resumed, with COVID, I think we've all learned a lot. We've worked from home. We've learned how to do different things. And what have you, Dave, learned from this over the past 18 months?
You know, the biggest thing I learned is, that I like to work alone. No, you do. You know, it has been an adjustment, right? Because at home, you can be so productive, right? And so I think we all got a lot better at working from home and accessing stuff. So all of a sudden now, as we're coming back into the arenas, and all of a sudden somebody stops in at 8:45 on a Monday morning, and hey, how was your weekend? And oh, hey, you know what I thought of since I walked by? And so all of a sudden it's a readjustment period. So I learned how to be antisocial, and now I'm slowly, we're trying to get back into this whole thing of coming to big meetings and that kind of fun. But it's a challenge. But I definitely learned, you learn a lot about yourself because you at that point had to be self-motivated.
Yeah, for sure. Jules, the arena dog, she was used to me leaving in the morning and coming back at night, and she looked at me funny for a long time. I think she threw like canine parties during the day because she kept looking at me like, you're cramping my style. What are you doing here? So that's fine. But I learned that my ears are uneven by wearing masks.
I had never known. I'm trying to. Now you have headphones on, so I can't visualize it. But
yeah, and
I'm going back to that last comment. I think you've experienced cramping their style. Every woman that's ever been in your life, pretty much, right?
Yeah, that's very true. But
that's a whole
other podcast. Yes. Yeah. That's a whole different topic. That might be a mini series. But
very many.
Zen, let me ask you, from your side of it, when you look at 19 months ago to where you are today, if you could whisper to yourself some little bit of advice as you were heading into this, what would you have told yourself?
Well, I think not knowing the length of it was probably the biggest stressor. I mean, people say, well, you guys don't have any events going on. What are you doing? Well, I think I was busier than I've ever been, just with all the cancellations and all the relationships and contracts we have
postponements.
Postponements, just everything. Trying to figure out the best way to take care of staff and the very fluid situation. If it was, I guess if it was one thing, it would be. If you knew where the end of the tunnel was, there may be some things you'd do differently, but the reality is you didn't know the end. So I think just taking things slow and deliberate and really thinking through things and thinking where you want to come out the other end, there may be a few things I'd do different.
We spend so much time planning for possibilities. Mm-hmm. That everybody you wanted that concrete answer, but there were so many we had so many meetings of, well, if this happens, but there was so much that was just unknown, right?
And in some ways it's still going on.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're resuming with shows, but this is by no means over, so we're still kind of adapting.
Well, I figure when he asked you what you learned during the pandemic, you probably learned that there's a lot of different ways that people know how to spit into a cup, right?
Yeah, I did. You mentioned that, and it's absolutely true. Is a lot of us found ourselves in unusual territory. I mean, everybody kind of was in an unfamiliar place, but a lot of us who work at the arena here at the Schottenstein Center and ended up working for Ohio State, doing different things on with COVID testing.
But critical functions that it was not easy. It was difficult all the way around, but certainly being able to chip in doing something that was critical to the operation of the university. And the building itself becoming the vaccination center, I think, was a cool way that the arenas served the community. So we tried to keep that in mind, and the staff that worked all that, boy, a lot of hardship.
Yeah.
And we really do appreciate those efforts that they went through.
And Dave was one of those people. Explain what you did, because for several months you were giving a new purpose to really help. I mean, it was a critical time and important function.
Yeah, there were a lot of folks here at the Shot who stepped up, in this window of uncertainty to go over and help run the university's COVID testing facility. And when I say run it, I mean, actually getting our hands dirty and in a time when we had been so many of us locked down with only seeing our families for 6 months. Obviously, there's a joy of getting out that first time, but we were out there and we were seeing at times 30,000 people a week through a facility on campus that would come through and basically spit in a tube. Right. And so there were times where you're monitoring, all of a sudden now you're working in a medical capacity where you're watching people and you're trying to look at they have enough volume in their tube, and is the color correct, and have they done things the right way, is the sample contaminated? And and you've got to deal with that. So you're wearing rubber gloves and face masks, and it was, all of a sudden now you're working, 8 hours a day on your feet, on concrete floors, watching people spit in tubes. And it became the new norm. Really, the first couple of days, you're watching people spit in tubes for 8 hours. It's weird, but real quick, it becomes the norm. Except the exception was if it was somebody I knew. When somebody I knew came in, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have somebody else watch you spit in your tube, because it got too weird and personal for me at that point. Yeah. But you're absolutely right, is that there was a feeling like, you know what, when we look back on this, when our feet have had the chance to recover, you're going to feel like, you actually did something, of value during that window. And you're going to have, it was satisfying to feel like, because sometimes we were at home, and I'm sure there were points where we all felt a little lost. And being part of a team and working towards a goal and trying to feel like you are taking those steps to make Ohio State and Columbus a safer place, there was a fulfilling side to it.
And shots at the Schott, that's what we called it. The Wexner Medical Center was a vaccination site here at the Schott. Administered over 220,000 shots. The governor proclaimed the Schottenstein Center operation as the gold standard of vaccination sites in the state of Ohio, which was really cool. We got coverage on CBS and CNN. One of the first Johnson & Johnson vaccines were administered here. I mean, when you look back on the history of the Schottenstein Center, that may be the biggest or one of the biggest events in our entire history.
Yeah, Garth Brooks and then vaccines, right? Yeah. That's right, 1 and 2. But
so Garth Brooks did 6 days. We did like 3 or 4 months or whatever it was.
It was. I mean, I got my vaccine here, right? Yeah. I mean, I remember walking through, and all of a sudden you're walking through the concourse of the Schottenstein Center, where you've been for all these concerts and amazing memories of events, and all of a sudden it had a very different feel. And we're doing blood drives over at Nationwide Arena as well, and doing some neat stuff there. But with the Schott actually stepping up and becoming that vaccination site was just a great chance to be part of the community, a true part. And I know venues all across America really enjoyed that.
Both venues continue.
I wish we didn't have to do it, but we're glad we had a chance to play the part.
Oh, I'm glad both venues continue to be community assets, really, even during this, as they say, challenging time. I remember going back to the first Blue Jackets game, 25% capacity, and you and I were both there. It was actually emotional.
Yeah. We were standing together when Leo stepped out to play sing the national anthem.
Yeah.
Did you hug?
And
no. Well, you almost wanted to, because we hadn't hosted an event of any kind with fans since March.
And I do remember I got teary-eyed, as I did when I came backstage at Eric Church. And I walked in the back of house, and we were setting up for a concert. It emotionally hit me in a very strong place that this is such an important thing to so many people. And, when we had just that feeling of the return to live is what we keep calling it, right? But that feeling of the return to live, it definitely carried some emotions with it. And that Blue Jackets game was our first kind of dipping our toe into that water.
And since we're talking about the Blue Jackets, their home opener October 14th. If you're listening to this before that, that's exciting, because full capacity. Yeah, it's coming right up. Let's talk about Monster Jam, our first entertainment event with fans since March of 2020.
Yeah, we've done so many Monster Jams over the years, right, that you almost take it for granted. Oh, it's monster truck time again. It's that time of year. But this actually being a very special one, that, the engines, the sound of the engines I heard just really warmed a lot of hearts that day.
Yep, and after the performance, we did Dirt Angels. A few of us did.
For people who haven't seen the visual, explain what a dirt angel is.
Well, how you do snow angels. Yeah. After, let's see, we were setting up the floor. The dirt on the floor for the event, and Mike Gatto, our general manager over there at Nationwide Arena, and I say over there because we're recording this at the Schottenstein Center, but myself and a few other people did actually a version of Snow Angels in the dirt to celebrate the return to events. And check it out. It's on the Arena Guy Facebook page, and it's gotten a bajillion views.
Bet you wouldn't have done that if it was the rodeo.
we're kind of thankful the rodeo was not the first show back. So that was really cool, Monster Jam. And Eric Church then, 560 days.
560 days.
Where I'll be so happy when we don't have to do the countdown anymore.
Right.
I mentioned how many days it will, but 560 days from Dan Shea to Eric Church at Nationwide Arena. And man, that was it's called the Gather Again Tour, which was very appropriate.
Yeah.
And it was a full house, full capacity.
And being in the round, too.
Yeah.
Right? It really, you could feel the community there. And you and I stood together as the doors first opened up, right? And the fans came in.
Yeah.
And then, and just, you saw the excitement of the return to live.
And Eric Church was excited, too. And he made this announcement to the crowd during his concert.
First of all, how you guys doing? I was reminded when I walked out here, it's been 560 days since there's been a show right here. So we got a lot of making up to do tonight.
And he did, right?
He did.
He delivered on that promise. I got to tell you, to use one of his own songs, a Springsteen-esque performance from Eric Church, right?
Yeah.
Because he played for 3+ hours. It was a late night, and I forget how many songs it was, but it was an amazing set list.
It was, and high energy. The arena guy, as I speak in the third person, went out and talked to the fans, and the fans were just truly excited to be back for shows as well, and captured some of that excitement on video.
Let's go! I'm so pumped I can't even contain my excitement.
This is huge.
And what makes him the act that you want to see over and over again?
The songs, him, the people that you meet here. It's like one big family. He is amazing. If you haven't seen him, you've got to see him at least once.
Nina has seen 50 Eric Church shows. Tonight will be your 50th, correct?
50. It is. To my calculations, it is. I'm like super excited. I'm with my people. I'm seeing Eric Church. I'm in another state, you know? I mean, what's there not to be excited about?
And they were very excited, especially that first group you heard was what, Adam, what was it, about 10 or 12 guys from various places around the country, and they were all buddies, and they were just having a great time. I had just a little bit of enthusiasm, as you heard.
Yeah, I know, it's absolutely right, and that feeling for that return to live, right? That concert. You know, I've never gone 18 months without being at a concert.
I know,
right? So to be there when the lights went down and the crowd was going crazy, it was a historic moment at Nationwide Arena.
It really was. That 579 days, and let's see here. We've got this right here. Here's a little prop. If you watch us on YouTube,
you can see the props.
You can see this. This is an Ohio State jersey. 579, and we actually presented Eric Church with a jersey that had 560 on it. But this jersey right here says 579 because that was the number of days between Winter Jam in February of 2020 to Guns N' Roses on September 23rd. 579 days between shows. So this is, people are going to ask, why doesn't Axl have it right now? But
it's a nice replica jersey.
I thought that was the number of days since you'd actually cooked a meal at your house.
Oh, it's longer than that. I make a mean bowl of Raisin Bran, let me tell you. I can fix it without the flakes getting too soggy.
Yeah. You know, we are lucky enough that we actually spend a lot of time at both arenas.
Yeah.
But a lot of the staff, that was their first event, right? Because the Schottenstein Center staff doesn't necessarily work at Nationwide Arena. So there were a lot of being there for the firsts for both groups was really special. And another night, right, where the energy was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous, and they were amazing. They really were. And when they went into Sweet Child of Mine, it was so loud. People were waiting for that song. Of course, Welcome to Jungle and everything else. But one of the really cool surprises of that whole show was Mammoth with Mammoth WVH.
Yes, with Wolfgang.
With Wolfgang Van Halen, and they were awesome.
Yeah, this is, Eddie and Valerie's son, right? Valerie Bertinelli.
You're on a first-name basis with him.
Star of Kids Baking Championship, right? So, but it's weird because people don't remember that she and Eddie were married. You know, there are a lot of folks that don't recall that, and so for him to be on stage, I'm telling you, it was a great way to start the night when he took the stage, and and we got a little Van Halen style or heavier rock coming out of the speakers and the crowd. It was again just that feeling of we're back here at the Schott.
Really, I mean, the novelty of him being Eddie Van Halen's son was cool enough, but when they actually were like really, really good, extra bonus and really get you fired up for Guns N' Roses.
For sure, absolutely.
And then we did WWE, our last event. It was the 4th entertainment event since the lockdown, so we're back and resuming. But WWE had a great energy as well.
It was a pay-per-view, right? How lucky were we here in Columbus to be able to host an event that was shared with the world, right? And so to not kick it off with such a huge event, so many of the WWE stars were here in the arena, and it was just great to have that feeling of excitement as they came back, and very different than the concerts, but something else that we had taken for granted because we do a couple of WWE events every year, right? So now all of a sudden to be seeing it with a fresh set of eyes, it was electric.
let's take a break and highlight a couple of upcoming events.
Wait a
When we
minute.
come back.
I had one quick comment.
Okay, yeah.
Just in case Dave probably remembers, you may not have been here, but Wolfgang also played with Van
Yes.
Halen the last time they played Eddie's last time here.
Yeah, I was on the tour with David Lee Roth, right?
Yes.
So it was neat to see him. He kind of took Michael Anthony's spot on that tour. And David Lee Roth just announced he's retiring from touring and he's going to do a couple last shows in Vegas, but then he's done. And it was kind of mysterious the way the whole thing sounded, right?
Yeah, I think his voice retired about 10 years ago, but he continued to perform.
But that show that night here at the Shot, if you were here, man, again, another great moment of rock history.
Yeah, so let's highlight a couple of upcoming events, and then when we come back, producer Adam is not prepared for this, and neither are we. But let's have him ask us a couple of trivia questions before we talk about some upcoming events at both arenas.
All right, I'm ready.
We'll do that.
Let's do it.
Coming up.
Global pop superstar Dua Lipa. Live in concert. Dua Lipa. Future Nostalgia Tour 2022. Schottenstein Center. Saturday, February 26th. With special guests Caroline Polachek and Lolo Zouai. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The phenomenal album Future Nostalgia is available to stream and download everywhere. Check more at dualipa.com.
Hey guys, this is UFC welterweight, the immortal Matt Brown. You're listening to the Arena Guys Backstage Pass podcast with Gary, the Arena Guy, and Dave Redelberger.
It's always great to visit with Dave Redelberger. Of course, he's a martial arts guy, which maybe he. Whoops. Oh. Yep. Hey, we're getting a little bonus, a little baby.
A little preview of something to come up with later on.
But yeah, we'll do that coming up. In fairness, producer intern Adam did not know we were going to do this. So
it's been a day like that. It's been a day like that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you know what? This is live, so it's
absolutely
you
right.
hear
It's part of
what
the fun.
we do.
It's real.
So let's do. How many did you pull there?
I grabbed 3.
Okay, so we've got 3 trivia questions. I will swear to you, I have not looked at these, and because Dave, I like surprises and things, and not,
Is this history, geography? What's the
Music.
category?
It's not
Okay.
geography.
Well, all right. I got to make sure it's one of the pink tiles.
It's music, and so we'll just go against each other real quick, and then we'll run down, know what's coming up at both arenas.
All right.
Adam, take it away.
All right, question number 1. Which artist had a huge hit with I Just Called to Say I Love You?
Up.
One of our favorites.
Stevie Wonder.
One of our favorites, right?
Easy enough.
He's one of our favorites. Stevie Wonder is awesome.
Magical Night. Magical Night.
Yeah.
It's classic.
He sang songs in the key of life, that's for sure.
He sure did, absolutely.
That was the tour. He did every song on that album.
Yeah, it was a special night.
I remember afterwards on that show, he had a small meet and greet with some people that I don't know how they got back there, but we were back there, and there was this kid. He must have been like 12 or 13 years old who met Stevie, and he's sitting at his keyboard. He had a keyboard set up, and people just came up and took a picture with him, and he just played.
Yeah.
But the kid said to him, I am so heartbroken that you didn't play Signed, Sealed, Delivered. And he said, heartbroken? I don't think the word was heartbroken, but it was something
like
really
that, yeah.
that seemed a little odd. But he did not really sing it. It was hits other than that album, and it was amazing.
It was a fun night. It was a fun night.
Absolutely.
Next question.
We're looking good, 1 for 1. All right, question number 2. Who released the song Hot Stuff in 1979?
Donna Summer.
Donna Summer, yeah.
You got
I
it.
had a comb in the 1970s. I don't know if you remember this. There was a trend where you would have the big oversized comb in the mid 1970s. You would stick it in your back pocket, and the handle of the comb would be big enough for a fun saying. Mine said Hot Stuff.
That's awesome. This question
was because that was your description of yourself, or
absolutely yes.
Yeah,
in the
of
70s,
course.
yes. I think I was 8.
Never saw Donna Summer perform.
Never did either. No, I didn't, and I was very sad when she passed because it was definitely one of those artists that you forget how many hits she had.
Oh my gosh! During the let's say late 70s, #1 hit after #1 hit, and she was the queen of disco.
It's
All right,
amazing.
question number 3.
Question number 3. Let's see if we can go 100%, yeah? All right. Lost Without You was a hit single for which of these artists?
Lost Without You?
Which of these artists?
Okay.
Yes, you have options. We're looking at Avicii, Sam Smith, Robin Thicke, or Meghan Trainor.
I don't know.
I bet
This is
you know this
different.
one.
I do
bet
know
you
this
know
one.
this
I do
one.
know
Is it
this one.
Meghan Trainor?
It is not
Is it
Meghan Trainor.
Avicii?
It is not. Tough. 2 for 3 is not so bad. The answer is Robin Thicke.
Robin
Okay.
Thicke. Okay.
Yes.
Well, good old Robin Thicke. Now
Well
on
done.
the Masked Singer.
Is he on Masked Singer?
Is he?
Yeah, he's a judge. He's a judge on the
Oh,
Masked
no
Singer.
way.
I had no
All right,
idea.
Adam,
Well,
thank you
that's
very much.
Well done,
And,
guys.
get back to your post, will you?
You can tell
You
which
embarrass me.
You can tell which decade we might specialize in.
But no, Adam, that was fun. And you know what? The Arena Guy is going to start doing trivia on a regular basis on Arena Guy's social media.
I like that. I like
on
that.
the acts that we do.
I love good music
It
trivia.
might introduce some fun facts about some of the opening acts, too, that a lot of people don't really know about. So that's kind of a preview of what the Arena Guy will be doing coming up. But Adam, keep those in your possession so I can't look at them and no one can accuse me of looking at them. We might do a few of those in future podcasts. All right. So I thought I'd say, too, real quickly, that one of the things I learned from COVID was that I got a real clear view at what most people's ceilings look like because of Zoom.
People, the Zoom backgrounds that people choose, not the virtual ones, but how people choose to position their camera, there could have been a whole etiquette class on that.
Oh, my gosh. If Adam framed video like most people do on their Zooms, he would be looking for another gig. I'm just kidding.
A lot of up nose shots of people eating their lunches.
And eating in front of the camera and then watching them chew.
Oh, God.
And you see like 3/4 of the screen is the ceiling and the back wall. It's
And
like
a lot of
people-
forehead.
And a lot of forehead. So you and I, we were perfectly framed.
Well, you ended up doing a lot of TV stuff via Zoom.
You know, I
right?
did since my last live TV pre-COVID was February of 2020. Did about 8 months on Zoom or more, and then did one in the studio. We were resuming, and then a few weeks later, this Delta variant took, and then they took away all in-studio guests again. We're back to Zoom. So over the past 19 months or so, one in studio, the rest on Zoom. So at home, I created my own little studio.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, with the Arena Guy logo and everything. And they always said, hey, Arena Guy, I have to give you props. You know how to brand. I said, well, yeah, that's what I do.
That's what we do. It's what we do.
So let's talk about coming up. Maybe let's talk about the shot first.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. There's so many great events coming up. Starting off with October 14th, Dude Perfect is back, and a lot of fun.
It's one of the funnest shows a couple years ago when we did them, and a lot of people didn't know what this show would be like because we all know what they've done on YouTube and everything, but what will a 90-minute or 2-hour show look like? It was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun, and it was a great family fun night.
It was.
So many dads here. You oftentimes, with the Disney shows or a lot of times it's mom bringing the kids. But Dude Perfect, it was a big dad joining mom in a lot of cases, but dad and the kids coming out for the show, and it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to have that back here in a couple weeks.
And coming up on the 28th of October.
We actually have a kind of a split attention that night, if you will, here on the campus of Ohio State in this area, because at the Schottenstein Center, we have Lil Baby and Friends, which is a full night. We're calling it the Boo Bash. It's going to be just a great night.
Can I say the opening acts? Because I think people who know me would laugh.
Oh, I would love to hear you say the opening acts.
Laugh
yes.
at me saying these names, including Adam here, with Lil Baby and Friends. The friends include Gunna.
Yep.
Mooski.
Yep.
42 Doug, and Murray.
It's going to be a fun night. And it's a great lineup. And that is October 28th. And at the same time, a very different crowd in a show that we are also helping put on over at Mershon Auditorium.
That's right.
Which I bet you can introduce this artist.
Well, we all know him as one of the greatest actors out there, Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
And with his band Modern West. And what a lot of people don't realize is that Kevin Costner started out in the entertainment world as a musician. And acting was his plan B. And so he got into acting, had a little bit of success in the beginning, and then he just took off. And now he's one of our greatest actors, and he's on the #1 streamed TV show out right now called Yellowstone.
Yeah, this is the Tales from Yellowstone tour.
Picked up for its 4th season. And he describes his music as Americana, and it has themes of the content of the TV series. So it's very kind of Western Americana in feel. And what I've seen so far is really fun, really excellent. Plus, just seeing somebody like Kevin Costner on stage, it's like Kevin Bacon does the same
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Too.
But it's fun. It's
just
fun.
kind of fun, kind of cool.
It's fun. That show, by the way, we talk a lot about visiting our websites, but that one, of course, being at Mershon, just go to Ticketmaster.com if you're interested in tickets for that one. So
Yes.
definitely excited about that.
And what's cool about that is that we're a part of Columbus Arena Sports and Entertainment. We call it CASE, where it's primarily the Schottenstein Center Nationwide Arena, but of course we also do shows anywhere else that
anywhere they let us.
We can put them. We could somebody's garage if they would have us.
The garage is somebody's stadium,
Yeah.
right? So it's a little bit of everything.
Ohio Stadium in the summer, we usually do 1, 2, 3 shows, or a Mershon Auditorium, or who knows where else. So we are not just limited to the arenas. So then coming up November 11th.
Lauren Daigle, you mentioned her earlier, right? This show is one of those shows that feels like we've been talking about it for 2 years, and it's probably because we have been.
Yeah, because she has been rescheduled a few times due to the uncertainty of COVID.
A very loyal fan base. Show's selling really well, so if you do want tickets, but Lauren Daigle's first big world tour, and we have some great video footage we posted on our YouTube channel too, so that one November 11th.
Yep, the War and Treaty has the opening act. They're really good too.
I did check them out because I like to go and just check out a few songs, and that's one where I stuck around for the War and the Treaty. Just a lot of fun. Great opener act.
On December 17th, is that right?
Yep, December 17th.
You couldn't tell if that was the 7th or 17th. December 17th, For King and Country. A funny thing about them, they're outstanding, by the way, Grammy Award-winning duo. But in my reports that I do for our office, I would put For King and Country, and the F in 4 is lowercase. And so I would put that in my reports, and the person proofing it would either take the word for out or they would capitalize the F. It's not that big of a deal, but it was like, all right, you don't know who they are.
It does happen.
But you should know who they are.
Yeah.
Little drummer boy.
And they're doing a Christmas show, which is nice.
Christmas show, which is always good, and they're kind of known for their Christmas tour and album. They just recently had a #1 song called God Only Knows, and later on for one of the award shows, Dolly Parton joined them for that song.
Yes.
It was amazing. And then they recorded also something else, but that was really pretty cool.
That show's a Friday night too, so definitely we'll have a lot of families here for King and Country, December 17th.
And then on December 29th, our annual tradition, 2 shows of the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters.
Always one of my favorites, and I've seen them pretty much every time they come through town. I go every year, so I've really looked forward to them returning. They have, in this downtime, kind of revisited, this is what they tell us, right, that they've kind of thought, hey, how can we make this better and do some new things? So definitely curious to see what the Globetrotters take to the court with here at the Shot on the 29th.
The Globetrotters may have been the first entertainment event I ever saw as a kid.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to date myself.
For a lot of people, though. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of
people. But my
parents
took me to see the Globetrotters, and Curly Neal, and who, oddly enough, later on, I would work with him, which was so weird because he was one of the cartoon and everything.
Those people that you connected with from your childhood are always some of the biggest folks.
So impactful. So the Globetrotters coming
So
up.
the next show after that is Dua Lipa for the Schottenstein Center. So Dua Lipa is coming, and this show is selling like wildfire. It's a February 26th, 2022 show, and we are very excited about that one.
It's the Future Nostalgia Tour.
Yeah.
Which I like that. Then coming up on the 27th of February, Tyler, the Creator.
Yeah, Tyler, the Creator is one of these shows that it's the right time for the right artist, right? He is hot right now, and definitely excited to see what he does here at the Schottenstein Center.
You know, Dionne Warwick, the legendary singer, 60s, 70s, a few hits in the 80s. She is got the biggest following on Twitter right now because she's like this older person tweeting about current acts. And she said, Tyler, the Creator, why does he have to say he's the creator? Or Chance the Rapper.
I did say she's great on social media.
Chance the Rapper. Why does he have to say he's a rapper? Yeah. Do I have to? Should I be called Dion the Singer? So she's hilarious. So Tyler the Creator, that'll be a fun show.
The Call Me If You Get Lost tour.
Yeah, coming up is one of my favorites. Producer Adam as well. Ben Platt. Been a big fan of his for a long time. He won a Tony Award for Dear Evan Hansen. I've seen the show twice, not with him in it, but I can easily picture him in it. And he will be here in concert on March 9th.
Yeah, that's one of those different kind of shows, right? That wow, that's happening here at the Schottenstein Center. But yeah, we would love to reach out and do some of those things, like kind of when we had Hugh Jackman here, and definitely looking forward to seeing what Ben does live.
He's a great artist. His newest CD is out. You're having Evan Hansen, the movie, opened about 2 weeks ago.
Which you will say it was better than a lot of the reviews.
I would say there are two crowds with that movie. The critics don't seem to care for it. Because Ben Platt's 28 years old, he's playing a high school kid, and they don't like what he did to appear younger. I will say that the movie is
Have
almost...
you seen Grease?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. Olivia Newton-John was like 40 years old when she was playing a high school tramp, really.
Right, yes.
And John Travolta she was older than him, and they were basically adults playing high school kids. So, I compare it to like The Lion King. When you go see The Lion King on Broadway, where it's a bunch of costumes and you see the people's head underneath.
It's not a lion singing to you.
About 5 minutes into it, you forget that you're seeing the face of a human being there, and it's you get used to it. And who else could play Evan Hansen than him? He originated the role, so it was like his last opportunity to do it at his age, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. The crowds, the regular ticket buyers, like it a lot more than the critics do. The critics, they need something to complain about, but it's emotional, and it's every bit as good as the Broadway musical, and the movie musical is outstanding. So I will tell you that it's really good.
Well, Ben's a great performer, so I can't wait for that March 9th show.
2 albums. He was in the Book of Mormon as well, and his new movie is called, I love the title of this, I wrote it down because his new movie coming out soon is called The People We Hate at a Wedding.
Oh, I like that. I could do it. I could make a little list there for you.
Yeah, and Politician on Netflix is one of the top streamed TV shows, series as well, and he was nominated for some awards for that. So Ben Platt coming up on March 9th, and does that? No, we still got April 9th.
April 9th, Alt J in Portugal. Period, the man, right? Portugal, the man, there, and that is. There's a lot of buzz for this show. Our friends from what used to be CD 101, but CD 92, being a part of this show, and that's going to be a great night of music here.
Well, LJ is one of the hottest British bands out there, and they've had more than 2 billion streams of their music. 2 billion.
If you
not
don't
million, not thousand, but billion.
If you don't know, it's one of those bands you're going to go, oh, and then you go and you pull it up on Spotify. And, oh, I do know that song. Right. Oh, I know that song too. So definitely that'll be a fun night.
And coming up next is an up-and-comer that I don't know if many people have heard of, but we're going to take a chance and hope he can do well in the arena setting. April 12th.
Yeah, this one's a long shot, and we hope some fans show up.
Yeah.
Sir Elton John.
On
the 16th year of the farewell tour.
Part of it, one, it started out being the longest farewell tour planned.
By design.
As opposed to Kiss, that their first farewell tour is 1999 and they're still doing it. And Cher, who says she's done and then she does it again. This was planned.
This was supposed to be a 3 years?
Like a 3-year tour. And then COVID got in the way. And so it's the U.S. dates were rescheduled for after the European and UK dates. So he didn't have to reschedule all those. So that meant 2 years. And now he performed. He opened the Global Citizen charity concert the other day, last week, in front of the Eiffel Tower. That was his last performance before he has some surgery. And so those dates got pushed back, but that only affects the UK dates. And so April 12th, 2022, Elton John will be back, Farewell Yellow Brick Road. I already told, you and I are in this business. We don't sit down and see many shows.
Yeah.
We see bits and pieces. And people say, what an awesome job. You get to see all of
We're working.
Yeah, we're working. We see bits and pieces of it. But I can think of only a couple in my entire career. In here, I think I watched the whole McCartney show and a 21 Pilots show and maybe a Garth Brooks. But other than that, it's like bits and pieces. You can tell what's great or not. But Elton John was one that...
We watched every song.
Every song. And intern producer Adam here, I'm telling you right now, you're going to prove your worth on April 12th of 2022 because I'll be sitting down and you're going to be working your tail off.
We're going to do it again. We're going to go out and watch the whole show again. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Because it'll be the last time he will play Columbus over an awesome 50-year period.
Definitely keep an eye on tickets for that one. Check it out when you can.
On May 13th, AJR, the OK Orchestra Tour.
Yeah, that one I'm very excited about, as well as, sorry. We did Chris Stapleton on April 21st. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Throw that in there. Hey, we're live. We're not going to edit that. We're just going to go.
Fine. Yeah, so Chris Stapleton, April 21st. Sorry, threw me off on my notes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Chris Stapleton is, and that's another one of those shows.
Yep.
But this is the third time it's been rescheduled.
2 years after the original. Each time is like a year later.
It is, right? And but if you were here for the last time you played at Nationwide Arena, a magic night. You know, it's one of those shows that you just have to be here to see.
Yeah.
It's beautiful music, and the way he and his wife interact on stage, it's awesome. And then right after that, May 13th, AJR, the OK Orchestra Tour. And these guys are a lot of fun. I saw them in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade this year.
They were?
They were in the parade, yeah. And I was like, who are these guys? And then they had the big hit, and it'll be fun to see what they bring. I think it's going to be a very dynamic live show.
My gosh, they've had 6 platinum or multi-platinum singles. And they're just this platinum selling indie band. I wonder how popular you have to be before you're no longer an indie band.
Right.
So let's continue with our schedule. Let's take a quick break here, and then we'll be back.
Sounds good.
More with the Arena Guys Backstage podcast coming up next.
Ready for little baby. It's the Power 107.5, 106.3 Boo Band with Little Baby and Friends with Gunna. 9 times out of 10, niggas know I was going. And Mooski.
She's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away
with 42 Doug. And Murray.
I got love for the ghetto.
Live at the Schottenstein Center, Thursday, October 28th. Rehearsal tickets will be on Little Baby and Friends. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. Dave Matthews Band. Live. Friday, November 5th, Nationwide Arena. Tickets available now at livenation.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Edwin Wilson. And I'm Cameron Fontana from Good Day Columbus. You're listening to the Arena Guys Backstage Pass podcast
with Gary, the Arena Guy, and Dave Redelberger. Woo. If you come here, don't expect tacos.
It's National Taco Day as we're recording.
Is it really?
It actually is National Taco Day.
No tacos.
No,
though.
still no tacos.
Edwin was disappointed. He expected a full buffet, mostly tacos.
Love our Good Day Columbus friends.
Yes, and they'll have to be back. We had a lot of fun with them on one of our last podcasts. Justin Bieber, let's continue with some shows coming up here. Justin Bieber on May 16th.
Yeah, and Justin has been rescheduled a couple of times here, but this one is the tour is all coming together, getting ready to launch, and very excited about that one, May 16th, and it's a 7:30 show. Tickets available now.
He broke Elvis Presley's record recently. It was 7 consecutive #1 albums in the U.S. Isn't that's crazy?
That's big.
Yeah, that is big. That's plus he's doing some incredible collaborations now too, and so Justin Bieber I think has gone from being a teeny bopper, a YouTube star, to a legitimate artist for sure. Is that everything at the show?
No, there's actually one more that I'm
so
excited about.
Me too.
We just announced it this morning.
Yes.
as of the recording.
Yep, and I had it listed first, so I almost overlooked it. So I'm glad. Why don't you mention it?
Saturday night, June 25th, at the Schottenstein Center.
Yes.
The Mixtape Tour 2022.
Yes.
So they're redoing the Mixtape Tour, which we'll talk about here in a minute how that works. But New Kids on the Block, Salt and Pepper, Rick Astley,
I know.
and En Vogue.
I know.
So great night. Now, if you were here for the Mixtape Tour last time, what's so great about it is that New Kids came out and then they would bring the other acts out with them. So then, all of a sudden they headed off the stage and somebody else would come on, Salt and Pepper would come on and do a little bit. And so it just made for the most unbelievable night of hit after hit after hit. And I got to tell you, I'm so excited to see Rick Astley.
Me too.
I've never seen him in it. We all laugh about it, but that guy had pipes, right? So I'm not going to probably go anywhere to see a Rick Astley concert, but as part of a tour with New Kids on the Block and Salt and Pepper and En Vogue, right? This is just going to be it's going to be an absolute party here.
They always have New Kids always has a great supporting lineup, and Rick Astley's got a bit of a resurgence going on right now too, by the way. He's one of the top 10 streamed artists of all time.
Oh, that's great.
Which is kind of crazy to hear, but he's just one of those acts that people can't get enough of. So there you go. New Kids on the Block, June 25th, and tickets on sale October 8th.
Yeah, it's 11 a.m. on sale for that show, but Ticketmaster.com is the best place to go.
All right, let's run down a Nationwide Arena.
And I'll be a little quicker because I know I kind of get too excited,
Well,
right? But we're
so
so
do
excited to
I.
have shows back.
We both do, and we both know a lot about these acts, so it's fun to talk about them.
Friday night, October 8th.
Yes.
Columbus R&B Fest coming at Nationwide Arena. This is Keith Sweat, Tank, Tevin Campbell, Drew Hill, and Silk. And this is going to be just a night of smooth jams.
Say that again.
Smooth jams.
I like that. Okay. October 19th coming up, the GOAT Tour, Gold Over America, featuring Columbus's own Simone Biles, truly a GOAT.
Yeah, please, if you've ever been to one of these gymnastics shows in the past, they're very cool experiences. It's kind of that concert energy combined with gymnastics. But this one, Simone is actually taking some real ownership in this tour. And check out some of the video we posted. It's just going to be an amazing night at Nationwide Arena.
They say it's gymnastics with the pop concert vibe.
Yeah, right. There you go.
And it features also some of the greatest female gymnasts in the U.S., including Lori Hernandez in the previous Olympics and a whole bunch of other recognizable names. So that'll be cool. Coming up, I'm wearing the T-shirt.
Oh, you are? All right. You should have pointed that out earlier.
Camera. 3 days of Columbus's own, maybe the entertainment act that is more proud of Columbus than anybody else. 21 Pilots.
Cannot wait. October 27th is the first show. Then we take a night off. Then we do 2 more after that. And 21 Pilots. The Friday, Saturday shows are sold out. Here's your pro tip. You want tickets that first show, the show on the 27th. There are some great seats available, but they are going fast.
Yes. And they're just, people travel from all over the country to see them. And it's really an experience. The arena guy goes out and talks to fans, and it's energy and passion like you've never seen before. And also what's interesting are the number of people that are dramatically affected by the lyrics of their music, so much so that they often get emotional.
It is, and people, like you said, they do come from all over the world to see the band in their hometown. It's like singing Springsteen or Bon Jovi in Jersey, or seeing Pitbull in Miami, right?
Is it like Pitbull in Miami?
No, right, but I'm going to say it's better than that. But when you go see an artist in their hometown, it's a little special night, right? There's some of that, something special in the air, and always when 21 Pilots are here, it's a night to remember.
And a little tease for the fans coming up closer to the showtime. There are going to be a couple of things that we're doing to welcome them that will be really cool photo ops or things to add to the excitement. And so that's a little tease for
Keep
coming
an eye
up.
on the Arena Guy's social media for details.
November 5th, Dave Matthews Band.
Always one of my favorite shows.
And then on December 8th is one I'm really excited about too. Remember we did Phil Collins a couple of years ago?
Oh, that was amazing.
It was truly amazing to see Phil Collins back after he had basically announced his retirement. He came back and he sounded as good as ever.
Yes.
His son played drums because he's got some back issues, so he wasn't really playing the drums, but it sounded so good. And so what's really exciting about this show is it is called the Last Domino Tour. And he's reunited with Tony Banks and Mike Rutherford as Genesis, and it's the first time they've toured in 14 years.
I am so excited. This is a bucket list show for me. I've seen Phil a few times, never seen Genesis. I know the legend of their show at Ohio Stadium being an amazing night. But I'm looking forward to seeing them at Nationwide Arena. This is near the top of my list of shows that I'm excited to see.
Me too. And after 14 years, this may be the last chance to see Genesis, the band. So I highly recommend people getting your tickets for that. It's going to be a special night. Playboy Cardi,
the Narcissist Tour. This is December 10th at Nationwide Arena, and again, kind of like Tyler the Creator, right artist, right time. Playboy Cardi is red hot right now, and looking forward to that show at Nationwide.
His self-titled album spent 63 weeks on the Billboard album charts. Isn't that amazing?
That's huge.
And, he's 4.4 billion streams.
That's ridiculous, especially when you look at some of the artists and you see that they've got 35,000 streams or whatever it is on certain tracks.
And
it is. It's true. It can be awesome, right? But when you see billions, you're like, wow, that's insane.
Wow. So up next on December 11th is what I'm looking forward to very much because of the combination. Both in my previous life at the University of Illinois here, I've presented James Taylor several times, and he's always amazing. This time, Jackson Browne is his special guest, and Jackson Browne was the very first show I ever worked in the arena business.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
We talk in this industry a lot about how 1 + 1 = 3.
Yeah.
So when you have, either act individually, it's a 1, but when you put them together, it makes something special. And James has done that a couple times, of course, with the Carole King tour, Bonnie Raitt, and now with Jackson Browne, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be an amazing night at the arena. And Jackson Browne, so many hits. He's a great live artist, and definitely it'll be a night to remember.
And both in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's very cool. So it's almost like 2 shows in one. James Taylor's definitely a headliner. Jackson Browne is just a super, super strong addition to that show with some of the greatest session musicians in all of music on that tour as well.
It is a great group.
So it's going to be a busy 3 days in a row, on the 10th, 11th, and 12th, because on the 12th we just announced the Christmas tour of Pentatonics.
Yeah, it's their evergreen Christmas tour, and Pentatonics, one of those live acts that's so much fun and a very passionate fan base.
Yes, and they've got, I think they've got like 5 billion views on YouTube as well, and they started out that way, really forming their fan base.
It's a Christmas show, but last time they played the Schottenstein Center, I believe it was a Halloween show.
It was,
and
remember?
they wore some costumes
Yes,
on
they
stage,
did.
right?
They
Including
did.
an Ohio State jersey.
That's right. And then coming up also in December, we don't always do entertainment events. We do some great athletic events as well. The 16th and 18th of December, the NCAA Volleyball Championship.
Absolutely electric. If you have been here in the past for the volleyball championships, it's amazing to watch. And definitely volleyball fans from all over the world will come to Nationwide Arena for those 2 days. A lot of fun.
It's always fun. And always fun to know that people are coming from all over the country just to see that. So January 15th, World's Toughest Rodeo.
Yeah, before that, of course, though, our favorite holiday tradition, TSO,
Oh,
Trans-Siberian
how could we-
Orchestra.
yep. You
This
know
is
what?
a December 26th show. And again, 2 shows, I should say. And the holiday tradition, that was not the same. We didn't have TSO last year, so
we
glad they're
did,
back.
but it was virtual.
Yes.
So now we're back to live, and you have to see TSO live.
It's an experience like nothing else, and it's the nutcracker for the next generation, right? It's just
it's an annual tradition for so many.
Yes, and like you said, in person is the way to do it.
World's Toughest Rodeo, the 15th of January. It's back. It's postponed from a previous date, and Chase Bryant is the free concert, free with your rodeo ticket, and a post-concert. We have to keep the tradition going of the country music artists doing the OHIO.
Yes, we'll have to do that. It's always a lot of fun doing that photo, and of course the rodeo. Last time you got in the bull costume, right? Wasn't that? It was one of our last events. I forgot about that, but.
Took photos with people as I was in a bull
People didn't know it was the arena guy inside the. Well, I don't give away all the magic.
Same amount of bull as always, though. Bull riding, saddle bronc riding, bareback riding, women's barrel racing, and so much more. And of course, Whiplash, the cowboy monkey.
Yes.
Always fun.
Huge hit.
There's a bunch of
when Whiplash
videos
joins the bill, it sells tickets. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. All right. Talk about on February 7th, Ghost and Volbeat.
Yeah, Twin Temple opening up that show. If you are a fan of these bands, this is a great lineup, and not for everybody, right? But a lot of people are really excited about this. Very loyal show, very loyal fan base, and Ghost is one of the bands that I've heard really cool things about their live show. I'm looking forward to. We were going to have Volbeat before the pandemic on their own, so adding Ghost to the bill with that makes it a definite a nice ticket.
Ghost is from Sweden, 3 consecutive #1 songs, and of course Volbeat from Copenhagen, and so a little world flavor coming here. And then on March 6th, It's not me, but it's a group called Tool. It's not me. I'm described that way sometimes.
Sometimes,
but Tool, 4 Grammy Awards in the metal category, and for that fan base, this is a big show.
The Acid Helps is the opener that night.
I just like hearing you say that.
We'll just let that be. But this is a concert that people have been begging us for. When I look through our social media content on a daily basis, frequently, when's Tool coming back? When's Tool coming back? And so, yeah, finally we have that date, March 6th, 2022.
Yeah, so what a lineup. Have we...
and so much more to come, right? I mean,
That's
we are
right.
literally... I'm pulling my hair out because we have been announcing shows. This is more shows than we've had on sale at any given point ever.
Yeah, I think because we haven't done shows in a year and a half, everybody is touring all at once, and man, we have a very busy season coming up ahead. Maybe the busiest, like you said, that I can remember.
If you are a fan of live music, we've got, like you said, a little bit of everything, plus comedy and YouTube stars, and it's nonstop entertainment here in Columbus. You you folks listening are so lucky to have two arenas that can bring so many shows, because along with the Blue Jackets and the Ohio State stuff, we can work together to find those open dates to bring all these shows, and I just couldn't be more excited.
I will have some self-restraint here, but I wish we could tell and share with everyone what's penciled in coming up too, because it's really great.
There's some big stuff.
But stay tuned. You can get all the information always at schottensteincenter.com and nationwidearena.com, and also check out the Arena Guy on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. And so that will be great. Are we caught up on commercial breaks? Because we had that one mishap on my planning. So
and some unexpected guests.
An unexpected guest, yes. So before we say goodbye, what do you look forward to most coming up?
Boy, what I look forward to the most, beyond the live shows is we talked about a little bit when we left WWE the other night, because there were those first big events, the 560 days and 579 days. And then at WWE, it just felt like we were doing live events again.
Yeah.
And so that feeling, as we continue to do that at both buildings, of instead of feeling the novelty of the return to live, of it just being the amazingness of the live events that we're at, and that is a feeling that I'm loving most right now.
I know. It you know what? It feels really good to be back. Monster Jam was fun.
Yeah.
But then we had a long break, and now within a matter of a week and a half or so, Eric Church, Guns N' Roses, WWE, and I feel like we're getting into our groove, and this is another example of getting into our groove, resuming the podcast. And you can hear the podcast wherever you get your podcast, and also on YouTube now. So this is being recorded, so I hope you are smiling into the camera.
I keep forgetting about the camera.
I know, which is good. So let's...
do the official close, right?
Yeah, might as well.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate you guys sticking with us. The Arena Guys Backstage Pass podcast is hosted by Gary the Arena Guy and me, Dave Redelberger. Our executive producer is Aaron Thomas. Our producer, Adam Paddock.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Props to him.
And the music, too, right?
Yep.
For concert information, as Gary mentioned, check out schottensteincenter.com or nationwidearena.com. And be sure to subscribe to the Arena Guys Backstage Pass podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Dave Redelberger.
And I'm Gary the Arena Guy. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.